Hey everyone, this is Dr. Chad Kuhns. Welcome back to the Daily Prime. I'm excited to talk to you guys about the top 4 worst standing postures. A lot of people aren't even aware of what their standing posture is, or like that's even a thing. But as we start to work with people who have hip pain or back pain or knee pain, I have to observe what your standing posture looks like. It's something you really can't get away from. You're standing in line at the bank or the grocery store or what have you, and you're gonna fall into your default standing posture. So which one are you? Are you category A, where you've kind of got this cross-legged gait / stance where your legs are crossed over each other? In this particular position, you're putting a lot of strain on your outer hips. So particularly like your glute med and your glute min are really elongated and you're putting a lot of strain on them. It's not uncommon for people to have hip or knee pain with these type of positions. And in fact, they can even run all the way down their ankles because their ankles are usually crossed all the way over too. You're also putting the good muscles, your external rotator muscles, on stretch. So it actually can be harder for people to fire the deep six in their glutes, I should say, which are very important hip stabilizers. So it can be a headache to kind of get those muscles firing again. Are you category B, where you tend to really lean to one side, the leaner? I tend to see this a lot of times in moms. They're used to carrying their child, but guess what? It carries on forever. Your body thinks that's the new norm. So if you always carried your child on the left side, let's say you wanted your right arm to be open, you could be 67 years old, you could come into your clinic, and you want to keep working out, but guess what you're still doing? You're still leaning to the side. A lot of times the muscles like the QL or the quadratus lumborum, your hip flexors, really any muscles along that side is being compressed can cause agitation. The low lumbar spine's facets can be irritated, and this is probably one of the most difficult habits to get out of, at least from what I've seen with regarding a standing posture. Are you category C, where you have a big anterior tilt and a low back arch, and you're dealing with some really tight hip flexors? You most likely have low back pain. You probably don't tolerate extension well. If you're working out, you might have difficulty doing squats or deadlifts just because you're already in such an extended position. So most often these people have a very weak core, their low back's tight, and they might even have pain all the way up to the spine. Lastly, category D, less commonly seen, but still a really bad, flawed posture. This is the laziest, most inherently laziest posture out of all of them. Your hips are just sliding forward and literally hanging on one of the strongest ligaments that we have in the body, the Y ligament of Bigelow in the hip. And not that you need to know that, but what you do need to know is that that hip joint is literally hanging on that ligament, which is really bad because that ligament's supposed to be inherently tight and you're kind of stretching it out. You're relying on all your ligaments and relying on zero muscle activity. But what happens once that hammock, so to speak, really loosens up, right? So instead of sitting on a nice tight hammock above the ground, now you're sitting on the ground. In order to get off the ground and avoid pain, you need to learn how to activate your muscles. But because you've been so inherently lazy for so long, now utilizing that muscles, that can be tough to get out of. You can be pre-fatigued and have poor endurance when going into proper standing posture. So those are the top 4 most flawed standing postures and techniques. Let's bring some awareness to the table. If you have any questions, just feel free to leave a comment below. I'd be more than happy to help. You could also shoot me an email at chadk@pr1memovement.com. That's chadk@pr1memovement.com. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.